go ahead and unmute it. Hi. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the City of Gardner Planning Commission meeting for Monday, April 26, 2021. At this time, would everyone, I'll call the meeting to order. This time, stand for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll start roll call to my far right. Commissioner Hanson here.
Commissioner Ham.
Commissioner Mader here.
Bowden here.
McNear here.
Commissioner Cooper here.
Commissioner Juniman here.
Commissioner All right, we have 7 in attendance. First item is consent agenda. All matters listed within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Planning Commission for study. These items are considered to be routine and will be acted upon by one motion with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired on an item from either the Planning Commission or from the floor, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. We only have one item, which is the standing approval of the minutes as written for the meeting on March 22nd, 2021. Do we need anything adjusted for that?
Do we accept the minutes as read?
Okay, we'll have a motion from Commissioner McNear. Do I have a second?
I'll make a second on that.
And a second by Commissioner Hanson. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes 7-0. Regular agenda item number 1, Willow Chase 6, FP-20-03.
How are you? Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Matt Mabe, the representative for Willow Chase Investments. We are working on the 6th and the final phase of this development. As I was sitting here thinking back, last week I celebrated my 45th birthday, and this community of Willow Chase I started about 21 years ago. So it's been a long time coming through the downturn of 08 and 09 and things slowing down, but the community that we have there, we are happy to still own it as a family and be wrapping up the last and final phase there of Willow Chase 6, right there at the corner of 183rd Moonlight. So I don't have a formal presentation. I think it's probably pretty straightforward. We're just continuing on with what we have out there, and so I'll let Robert go through on the staff report side, but just want to let you know that I am here to answer any questions. Appreciate that very much.
Okay, thank you. Would the city would like to make their presentation?
Good evening. Also, if the commissioners, if you've noticed, you have an extra sheet of paper sitting in front of you. I went ahead and revised the recommended motion to add an additional condition of approval. Again, item 1, Willow Chase 6, final plat, FP 2103. This property includes approximately 4.8 acres of land at the northwest intersection of Moonlight Road and 183rd Street. The property has never been platted and is undeveloped. The property was part of an annexation back in 2001 and then rezoned to R2 in 2003. Preliminary plat was approved back in 2016 along with 4 deviations. First deviation increased building coverage for the 1.5-story duplex planned to equal less than 33% of the maximum building coverage. Second one was a deviation from the building design standards for garage limits for all 3 duplex plans. The third deviation was from the building design standards for front entry feature for the 1.5-story duplex plan. And then the fourth deviation was an increased hardscape in the frontage area for all 3 duplex plans to less than the 44% maximum allocation of hardscape within the frontage area. Again, the final plat consists of 12 lots and 1 tract on 4.8 acres for duplex development. All infrastructure is available to this site. Staff findings that this plat is in substantial compliance with the preliminary plat and the land development code. The request for final plating is consistent with established goals and policies of the city. No deviations are requested with this plat, and excise tax will be leveled with this plat as well. Staff recommends approval of the final plat for Willow Chase 6 with the conditions outlined in the recommended motion. And this is a revised recommended motion too.
Okay, thank you. All right, it's time for commissioner discussion. Instead of going one by one, I'm just going to ask if anybody has any discussion points that they would like to bring up.
Just have one.
Commissioner Hanson?
Probably not a big deal, but was just curious as to why there wouldn't be any access from 183rd Street, whether it be an extension of Hemlock or some other.
It was never required by Public Works, so we didn't require it ourselves. Plus, if they would have brought Hemlock down straight down, that was would have been way too close to the intersection.
Thank you. Anybody else have any discussion? All right, no further discussion. I would accept a motion.
After review of application number FP-21-03, a final plat for Willow Chase 6, located at the northwest corner of Moonlight Road and 183rd Street, parcel ID CF221425-4002. Based on review of a staff report dated April 26, 2021, and a final plat dated March 1st, 2021. The Planning Commission approves the application with the following conditions. Number 1, prior to recording of the final plat, excise tax shall be paid to the city. 2, the construction plans for any utilities, infrastructure, or public facilities shall meet technical specifications, and public improvement plans shall be submitted and approved prior to the release of the plat for recording. Number 3, constructing a 10-foot wide trail on the north side of 183rd Street and a 5-foot sidewalk along the west side of Moonlight Road. Number 4, provide a revised tree plan to include trees along Moonlight Road and 183rd Street. Number 5, providing a note on the plat that describes the use and maintenance of Tract A. And number 6, labeling the cul-de-sac name, and recommends the governing body adopt dedication of the right-of-way easements.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner McNear and a second by Commissioner Ham. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, that's the end of our regular agenda items. We have one discussion item, upcoming calendar schedule.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, good evening. Just a couple quick things as we enter the summer months. I know it's still April, but we're getting closer, and I want to give you some heads up. First, on the May agenda coming up, there will be a couple of items that we need to take care of. One is officer elections, which is an annual event, so that'll be on your May agenda. Another one, which I've been informed of from our bond council, is the Marketplace TIF is going to come before you to do a little bit of an expansion of that. As that area has developed, the Freddy's property in particular, if you remember the case we had there, had been platted in a different configuration than it's platted in today, and that legal description did not include a segment of the Freddy's property. So that's going to come forward to you just as a conformance check with the comprehensive plan and things like that. So you'll get that item. It's a little bit different than a typical case, so just anticipate that. Also, it's my understanding that we have 2 members whose terms are coming up. I believe Mia was one and Steve is the other. My understanding is you both have said you'd be reappointed and everything. So City Council is anticipated to take action on, I think Steve, yours will be this Monday coming up, and Mia, I don't know if it'll get to you or not, because Sharon just was made aware of it, and I don't know if she'll be able to get it on the third's agenda, but it'll happen in May before the next planning commission, so we should be okay with that, on the two of those. The other thing I want to make sure of, I know summer schedules get a little hectic. If you are seeing conflicts in your calendar with planning commission dates in June and July and August, please let me know as far in advance as possible, because if we're going to have a problem with a quorum, I'd rather know up front, so that I can schedule accordingly with any of our applicants to try to make any accommodations. And also, if we need to make a schedule change, if I know that a couple months in advance, we can get that on your agenda and make that official change with that. I do know June is going to be I'm going to just call it a interesting month here from a staff standpoint on scheduling. We've got some things going on. I've got a building inspector that may be retiring in early July, so we're going to be trying to deal with that issue. We have a number of staff members that have also got scheduled vacations that, because of COVID, all got delayed and meshed around, and we're kind of trying to figure out how we're going to get everything staffed as we're going through the process. But I wanted to make you aware of that, and then encourage you, like I said, if you know that you're going to have a conflict coming up in these summer months, just shoot me an email. Let me know where there may be a problem in that, and I can start doing the head counts and figuring out where we're at. I can keep the chairman informed on that. That's all I've got from our end as far as that item goes on the discussion. You have two new members tonight. I don't know, Mr. Chairman, if you want them to introduce themselves or how you want to proceed
I think that would
with
be
that.
good if we could start with Commissioner Cooper.
My name is Stacy Cooper. I was just appointed. I'm not sure what you'd like to know, but
Well, welcome. Thank you for volunteering your time.
thank you.
Sir?
My name is Austin Juniman, resident of Gardner. I moved here last summer and excited to serve.
Thank you. We appreciate you serving and volunteering your time. It's an important task. Thank you. Has anybody got anything else?
Just have one question for David. If we run into a situation where we've got a little bit of a schedule conflict, but we could still be available but not be here in person, what's the possibility that we could remote in and still participate in the meeting?
We should be able to accommodate that.
Okay.
So the technology is set up to accommodate it. We'll probably want to do a test run or something like that. So if it is a situation where you think you can still zoom in, or however we accommodate it through the technology, just let me know in advance. We'll work with the IT people and make sure we get an invite worked up, and hopefully it all comes together on the night of the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody got anything else? All right. I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
I think someone wanted to go. All right, I have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner McNear and a second by Commissioner Mader. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? We are adjourned.